Alright, so today we're going to try and install the Black Widow full exhaust on my Honda CB650R. It's a 2020. So I've started with the removal of the piece here holding the radiator and the two bolts on the side. I went ahead and loosened the bolts on the exhaust. You can see them. They're just, barely able to twist it off with just finger tight. I used a 12 millimeter socket wrench with the swivel mount. This is really helpful in those tight little spots. So this is a great tool to stick in there. Worked great. So now I'm going to try to unclip the O2 sensor from up here. Going to use a screwdriver to try to flip the tab. Let me put on a headlight. Hang on one second. Put on some light so hopefully we can see in there. Hang on. As you can see, it's this piece here. This little tab needs to be flipped up, and then we should be able to yank this out and then later follow it through down here, which is this one, and we follow it down to here, and we're going to unclip it through here, this tab here, and that way it'll be loose. Once we get that done, we're going to go ahead and give the O2 sensor here just a simple little crack to loosen it, and then once we get everything, all the bolts done, we'll finish unscrewing it and hopefully drop the original exhaust. So we'll put on pause and we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, boys and girls, it worked out just fine. However, I did cheat. I didn't use the flat nose screwdriver. I actually have this tool for popping rivets and stuff on car upholstery that I had lying around, which I used years ago on an old car that I had. This, because of the almost a 45-degree angle, I was able to get in there and just unhook it. It worked out really good. And also used it to remove the clip on the bottom of the O2 sensor, and that worked out just fine. So as you can see, I'm clipped here. So the O2 sensor is pretty much loose, right? So I'm going to go to the other side and just crank it and loosen it from the muffler or from the exhaust here, so it doesn't get all twisted and bent out of shape. So I'll just yank it out a little bit more and give it some room. All right, so we'll do that. So next. I had to bring it down, just yank it down a little bit more here, just to give it some more wiggle room on the other side. Okay, so we're gonna need to do that also. All right, so after loosening over there, it just loosens really easily here. So this is pretty much loose. Don't want to give it too much. I don't want to mess up all the wirings, but that one's pretty much ready to go. So let's undo the screws on the exhaust here and the other spot I have to look for. Alright, so we'll do that next. There's something else I did as a precaution. Just laid this underneath so it just won't drop in case the the O2 sensor still attached, and I don't want it to yank too hard, so avoid any kind of issues with the O2 sensor. So I went ahead and did this just in case. Alright, so there it is. It was one screw on one side and another one on the other side, and before it dropped, I went ahead and unscrewed the O2 sensor. So far, so good. The challenge is going to be aligning the pipes on the install, but here it goes, and we have to remove I believe this plate here, this one here, for the install on the Black Widow exhaust. Alright, so let's get this taken out. Alright, so we just removed the heat shield from under here, and it says that we're going to probably need one of the screws later on to attach. I believe it's going to be here for the exhaust, the brace, but we'll come to that in a little bit. So we're going to start the new install. Alright, so installed the brace. It took some maneuvering because the screw on the other side was a little bit hard to get to, so I just put a wrench on that side and an Allen wrench on this end. Was able to screw it in, so this is where it attaches to later on when we put in the pipes. So let's start that process now. Alrighty, so I went ahead and I did one pipe at a time and just, you know, finger tight on the nuts, just so I can get everything sorted out here at the bottom portion. Hopefully it'll work out, because I tried to put it attached to the piece, but it was getting too heavy, and I can't do it all by myself, so went ahead and just did one pipe at a time. And like I said, I just did it, the bolts just finger tight, so I can just adjust them down here as I move along, installing the other portion. So we're going to go ahead and try to do that now. So here's a trick to do prior to installing this portion of the pipe. Is you can, you know, turn it like this, counterclockwise, and screw the O2 sensor back in, minimizing any damage to the cables. So I suggest doing that prior to linking it up. I already had put it on, but then I noticed that that's going to cause too much stress on the cables, so I removed it and put it on this way, just twisting it around like that, so we can minimize any damage to the cord or a cable here. Alrighty, so we'll move forward and attach this to the pipes now. Alright, so we have it on. It wasn't too shabby. There seems to be a little bit of a gap here, but I think that'll tighten up once I tighten up the exhaust up there, and I'll push it in a little bit more. But everything else, it all went very smooth. Did the O2 sensor, so now you gotta just plug it back in, pull up some slack, make sure everything's okay down there, and we'll go from there and just make sure it runs up and it's not in the middle of anything, and plug it back in, and then we'll tighten up the pipes from up here, and then we'll do the final steps of installing the pipe, and we'll go from there. But everything seems to have gone pretty smooth. It's been about an hour 15 minutes or so, from beginning to where we're at now, since this is the first time I've done an exhaust. It's a learning curve, like everything, but we'll get it done. Just patience. Alright, so I was able to push the clip back in, no issues. So that's pushed back in, and the O2 sensor, sorry about that, is okay. Maybe I should zip tie it or something up here, kind of get it out of the way, but everything is good. Clipped it back in right there. So that's all. It's all done. Now let's get to work on the other side and try to install the can. All right, so it's all wrapped up. Finished installing the exhaust. It was a little tricky, but mission accomplished. My suggestions are to start with the rear end. So start with the can, installing. So install the can first, and then work your way into the pipes. I would suggest starting, with 1, 2, and 3. Just once you do install them, just leave them finger tight, so you can adjust them as you need. And once you insert them into the mid pipe, you would have to tweak it a little bit and do some adjusting. But the tools that I showed for you, for the springs, and the other one for the removing the plug on the other side, come in handy and work really well. Once you adjust them, you fit in the can. So you start with the can, put everything in, put in the mid pipe, and then slowly put in the main headers. And again, leave them finger tight so you can adjust them as you need. And once you have them fit in properly, you tighten everything up, and you should be squared away. It wasn't too bad. It was over an hour and a half or so, 45 minutes to be honest. I did did another modification. I added some engine guard, some protectors there. It takes away a little bit on the color though, but I'd rather have the protection on the engine than the brass. But it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I did do both sides. I got this is a one piece. It's from RNG. It's pretty nice. Did the other one side too. So as you can see, sorry about that. And this side over here also. So we're getting there slowly but surely. And then the rear cowl, did that a while ago. Tail tidy, simple. What I don't really like so much is the yellow spring. Kind of stands out, and being yellow and stuff just stands out a little bit too much for me. I don't know, I have to wait and see. RNG sells like a sock that covers it, and it just goes around it and it buttons it, and it's black. So kind of looking at that too, and see sometime down the future sometime. Also a radiator guard, I need to do that. Got some shorty levers, very easy to install. Got them red, kind of matches a little bit, it's not like the red, but it matches the color of the bike pretty decently. But slowly but surely, I don't know, windscreen, I'm debating. There isn't one out there that I really like at the moment, but we'll just hold out for that. Belly pan, taking that into consideration also. I have to wait and see where I can find them all at the same time. Phone mount, I've had this forever, since I had my R1 and my Street Triple. So think about phone mount sometime down the line. Mirrors, another thing to debate, see what to do. But that's the fun thing about having a bike. You can modify it to your taste. Not everyone is going to like it, but they're not riding it, you are, so they don't like it, tough. But so far I'm very happy with the current modifications of the bike. Everything's working perfectly. really like it. So let me start it up so you can at least hear what it sounds like. Let me open up the garage door so I don't kill myself with carbon monoxide. So give me a moment.